Hello, dear community. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are. Hello. Thank you very, very much for joining us today, for connecting in this wonderful session once again with us here on YouTube, for connecting and sharing with us during this time of Advent, of waiting, of preparation. Today we have the fourth Ask for Peace Advent 2024 event session, this time from Asia. We started in the Middle East, we went to Latin America, we made a quick stop in Europe, and now Asia is welcoming us. Today's event will have the participation of members of our community that come from different realities and backgrounds, friends that share a message and a vision of peace. We will start with the participation of Vincent Chi, who will introduce us to Dr. Farha. She will present to us the importance of dialogue, the importance of peace, and then Thomas too is gonna take the word and will share with us a presentation on peace processes in the region, and Natalia Teguputri will guide us through reflection about peace. Well, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your dedication, the time you dedicated to listen and to dialogue. Thank you so much to all of our friends who are here today connecting from Asia. And please share with us, dear friends, your comments, your appreciations, and your efforts in the YouTube chat box, as we understand peace not as a goal, but a process, a shared process. I'd like to welcome our participants with the following quote. If we are peaceful, if we are happy, we can smile and blossom like a flower. And everyone in our family, our entire society, will benefit from our peace. This is from, sorry for the pronunciation, 𝐏𝐞𝐚𝐜. Peace is every step, the path of mindfulness in everyday life. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna call in here Vincent Chi, who's gonna present Dr. Farha. We do not have sound. Ricardo, please, can you try again? Let's try again. Let's see if we can. We still do not have sound. Let's see here. Okay. Did you manage to listen anything? No, right? Okay. I'm gonna try to stream from my computer then. I'm so sorry about this. You know, live sessions have this kind of stuff. So let's give a deep breath and have peace in our hearts. I'm gonna try it out here. Let me see if it works now. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I'm going to share here. Here we go. If you don't listen, if you can't hear, please let me know, okay? Interrupt me with your microphones. Here we go.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to introduce my friend, Dr. Farha Iman. She's an amazing person who's dedicated her life in building peace and helping people from all walks of life understand each other better. She works as a global head of 𝐏𝐞𝐚𝐜, a firm that's all about bringing people together and creating a sense of purpose in organizations. Dr. Farha has a PhD in dialogue and peace building. Basically, she's a real expert when it comes to making meaningful conversations happen. She's also worked with groups like UNESCO to figure out the best ways to get young people from different backgrounds to connect, understand each other. Now, she's here to share with us about what's happening with peace efforts in Asia, including some progress ASEAN is making, and highlights from countries like India and Singapore. How dialogue can help us connect better, whether it's in workplaces, organizations, or just day-to-day life. More importantly, we will be able to start building peace right away today because Dr. Farha will share actionable tips we can use to have better conversation and build peace in our own lives. Over to you, Dr. Farha.
Yeah, thank you, Vincent. First, I would like to share my PPT.
All right, there you go.
You can see, right?
Yes, we can see the entire PowerPoint interface. Okay.
Okay, so I want to. Okay, let me try again. So can you see now? Is that okay?
Yeah, we can see it. It's not in the presentation mode, but I think it's gonna work.
Yeah, I hope so. Let me fix it. Yeah. Okay, I think I'll go with this. Yeah, so Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm Farha Iman from Delhi, and thank you, Vincent, and everyone from 𝐏𝐞𝐚 Francesco for letting me part of this discussion. I am already a part of economy of communion, maybe if you have heard, and I have been to Assisi, and Francesco the Assisi holds very special place in my heart due to some spiritual reasons, because my visit and some of my dreams. Actually, I saw a dream about his place without going there. So when I went there, then I realized actually I saw this place. So it holds a very important place in my spiritual life also. So I'm really happy to be part of this discussion. So because we are talking about economy of peace, so I think we should look at the economic aspect of peace also. But before going to peace, I think we should also look at the war actually, how economy of war is, playing. So in 2022, the report of UN, which on why peace matters, indicates that in the global economy face repercussions of 20 trillion dollars. So it impacted so much on global economy, and that is total of 13% of the world's GDP. So which indicates that every person paid $2,380 to the world economy, to the war actually. So directly or indirectly, this is how we paid. And if you look at the military expenditure, it has, of course, increased by 6.8%, which is quite big. So, for example, if you look at in Asian countries, especially if because I'm from South Asia, so if I look at the South Asian countries, for example, Indo-Pakistan conflict, we have Kashmir conflict, we had Sri Lankan war, civil war, and currently we have internal strife in Bangladesh. We had Myanmar genocide. So, if we will look at all these conflicts, it seems that they are increasing day by day. And actually, the amount of money we are putting into the wars, it is exceeding the amount which we are putting into the peace. So, for example, if we look at this, the next slide, it shows that United Nations, which was initiated for peace actually, so they are investing only 800 million for the peace initiatives. And look at this data. It's saying that in wars, the economy is suffering from 20 trillion. It is in trillion and it is in billion. And the peace builders only need less than 1% of the entire spending what we spend on wars. So it is just less than 1%. But again, the question is that why are we buying expensive, ugly, painful, anti-business, anti-development wars? And why are we not buying cheap, sustainable, full of life, pro-development peace? So this question makes me crazy. Why the world leaders are not, buying the cheap thing, which is more, which is more pro-life, which is better. So, and any good businessman will not make such kind of deal. So I think that there is something else which is going on, which we are not paying attention to. It means that these leaders, or I'll not say these leaders, but there are some, I do not want to use these words, but there is some evilness that you are buying expensive and more ugly things and not the cheap things which are more useful for human beings, it is just crazy to look at it. So, but does it mean that conflict is always bad? So I would say, well, it is bad and also good. Because conflict is necessary for change. Because in some situations, for example, if I look at the Indian history, or for that matter, South Asian history, where we had colonialism, so we also fought, although our freedom freedom was fought in a very peaceful way, led by Mahatma Gandhi. So sometimes it is necessary for the change. Sometimes it helps us to take the better decisions because it tests our logics, our status quo, it is our assumptions. So we try to improve our conditions by increasing our voice against the status quo. So, and sometimes it also increases within the group. For example, for creating the Indianness among Indians, I think there had been a little bit role of the colonials, I would say. And of course, we all know it is bad because it is destructive, it has bitterness, it is waste of money, time, energy, lives. It creates emotional trauma. So what I'm realizing that actually conflict is not bad or good as such, but how we invest in conflict, how we manage the conflict, that matters. So again, disputes and problems, issues, they're not the problem, but how we manage them, what we learn from them, and what are the course we choose to take. So that matters. For example, if you look at this slide, we will see that the peace starts with differences. After peace, if we have differences, it starts, it goes on to disagreement, then problem arises, and then disputes. If at the level of disputes, we bring mediation, if we talk, if we have a dialogue at this level, at the level of dispute, then we can come up the some solutions and an agreement and acceptance. If not acceptance, at least we should have respect, and then come back to the peace. But at this level, if we do not step back, if we do not dialogue, then we go to the level of conflict, violence, war, and then stalemate situations, and very, very horrific things. So there is entire conflict resolution diagram, which I think we don't need right now. So so with this at this level of mediation, governments and other, for example, UN agencies and other international agencies, they have come up with different levels of diplomacy track, how we can bring peace. So there are some of the tracks. This is called multi-track peace diplomacy. Actually, I'm just sharing all these things just to give the basic idea, because I think other participants will talk more about the personal things and stories, and which will engage you more at the personal level, but it is just to create the background. So government at government level, that's called the track 1 diplomacy, where government brings the other government to the table to discuss things. For example, we have Oslo Peace Accords. We had several between India and Pakistan. We had several meetings at government level, but most of the time, or many times, they don't work. So then we have some professional conflict resolutions organizations comes, for example, EU, NATO, UN, these organization, professional conflict resolution experts. Then we have business also. Sometimes governments introduce business between two countries, so that, when the money will be involved, at least they will try to create a pro business environment which needs peace. And at track 4, we have private citizens. For example, in India-Pakistan case, we have some singers, actors, politicians, sports persons, for example, Atif Aslam. So many of the Indians even don't know that Atif Aslam is not Indian, he's Pakistani, but he's celebrated here so much. So similarly, we have a track 5, where organization, think tanks, institutions, they start writing papers and do research works and things like that. And we have peace activists. At this level, there are lots of non-profit organizations, peace activists, those who work. For example, a long time back, we had Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, who was working at the peace. He was also called the Frontier Gandhi. He was from Afghanistan. So at this level, and actually this level also works. Now we must think, okay, it is when government is not involved, how these people, individuals, how they are impacting. Actually, they impact. They impact by creating relationships. They impact by bringing the other's voice to the group. So, for example, these kind of efforts have initiated some of very good ended up in a positive result. For example, we had Aman Ki Yatra or Samjhauta Express. There was a train which started from India to Pakistan, which was part of similar peace activism, actually. And then we have religion as a track 7 diplomatic work. In this, we have example of Kartarpur corridor from India to Pakistan. We have one corridor which is connecting Gurdwara from India and another Gurdwara in Punjab. So people can, like Indians and Pakistanis, they can come there and meet and visit their religious places. So similarly, like funding, by providing funding at the track 8. For example, many international organizations, they provide funding for peace initiatives. So this is the main, actually there are more 12 tracks also, but these are the main tracks which I wanted to bring here. So if you look at these tracks, we will find that there is one trend in all these things, in all these tracks. That is that to bring people from one group to other group, to have a dialogue between the group, to actually make them affiliate or make them know actually they exist and how they exist. It's just bringing people together and providing a safe space where they can dialogue, whether it's dialogue through music, dialogue through business, dialogue through funding, dialogue through research work, dialogue through education, dialogue through dancing. So there are different ways of having a dialogue. So but we need to understand what dialogue is. But before that, we need to know what dialogue is not, because most of the time we get confused. Does dialogue mean debate, that my religion is better than your religion? Is it an argument that my nation and my country is better than yours? Is it a negotiation that how we can come to the table? If you will give us this piece of land, then we will do this. And no, it is not dialogue. So first we need to understand what dialogue is not. It is not just a conference or an advocacy or a discussion. So what is dialogue? Actually, dialogue is just creating a safe space for people where they can bring their assumptions, their previous perceptions and judgments about each other, where they can talk genuinely to know the other. That's it. This is the simple definition of what dialogue is. For example, I would like to give you an example of this. Just take an example of two person or a brother and sister sitting in a room, and let me know if my time ups. So they are sitting in a room. Brother is maybe he's doing some sketching, and the sister is maybe she's doing she's painting her nails, and she opens the window. Then brother gets up and he closes the window, and she opens the window and he closes the window, and they start fighting that I want to open, let it open, and he says I want to close it, let it close. So and they start fighting. So this is the conflict situation. They have a dispute. So now we can think that actually the issue of conflict or issue of dispute is this window. No, actually that is not the window. That is only the resource, that is only the object which is visible. But actually the issue is their purpose, why she wants to open it and why he wants to close it. The person who is the boy, he's doing sketching, he's sketching, and he has papers all over the table. So when she opens the window, his paper flies away, they go here and there. And she wants to open the window because she's doing she's painting her nails, and she wants fresh air to come so that her nails just dry easily, faster, so that she can do other work. So if they will sit and talk, the purpose of opening the window, I think they will sort it out. Maybe he will get some paperweight to keep his drawing on the table or his sketches on the table, or maybe she'll just go out and dry somewhere else. So until unless they don't have an evil intention to hurt the other, that is a separate case. So this is what dialogues does. It helps us to sit down, to bring people together at one table, and it helps us to talk about our assumptions, our perceptions, our judgments, our purpose, what we are doing, why we are doing. So I hope that this would have helped you to understand when dialogue is needed and how it functions. So yes, how dialogue helps us? Actually, it helps us to create genuine relationships. Okay, I'll tell you a story about it. My teacher, her name is Navneeta Chadda, Professor Navneeta Chadda, long, I think 10, 15 years ago. So she used to teach us conflict in South Asia. So we used to study, conflict in Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Myanmar, all. So she told us one story, and it's a story of Indo-Pakistan border. So she said that at the border that was around in northern India somewhere. So the soldiers who were deployed at the border, because there were the peacetime, so there was no wars, and but still there were the soldiers were deployed at the border because that was their duty. So they started to develop a relationship. They used to share food, they used to sing together, they used to, for example, this group is singing loudly from India, other group, the Pakistani group was singing some song from the Pakistan border, which was not so far. So they developed a certain kind of relationship. So when the war took place and they got the order to fight with each other, and they were so reluctant, they did not fight, but there was order. So, but and they were praying that war does not happen. Well, it did not happen. So God listened to their prayers. So, but this, when this kind of relationships, genuine relationship happens, then you act differently. And you then it does not matter who is the other person, because for example, I will share with you one more story. I was part of one peace discussion long time back in Geneva, and there was one girl from Israel, and I had this perception without talking to her that I'm a Muslim, she will not like me. I did not talk to her. I did not like, we did not exchange anything, and we were roommates for 2-3 days. We did not talk. So we used to share the washroom one by one without talking, So during some of the activities, I noticed that she has so many common things. We have so many common values about believe in God, about justice, about peace, about so many things we had common. And then I start talking to her, and then I realized actually we were so much, so much similar in so many ways. So when we have a dialogue, then we create a genuine relationship. And when we create a genuine relationship, even if we face a conflict, we say, I know that person, this person will not behave that way. If they will, then we'll go and talk. So I think the main purpose of dialogue is to create genuine relationships. Okay, now some people can say, but there are prejudice and discrimination. There are so many things and stereotypes among us which stops us to talk to the other person, like in my case with that girl from Israel. So yes, this is how it works. First, we do categorization. We versus them. We are good, they are bad. We are righteous, they are on falsehood. Whether it's religion, whether it's race, whether it's region, whether it's countries. So sorry. So first, there is always a categorization of we versus them, and then we stereotype them. What is a stereotype? Stereotype is generalization about a person or a group of people. That, for example, we'll say, Asians, they will always behave like this. People from the West, they will always behave like that. For example, we have, like, in my family, we say that we are Chaudhry, so we say Chaudhrys are loud. So they will always, even if they will talk on phone, they will talk as if they want to scream from here because we are loud. So well, there are some funny stereotypes also, and there are some real stereotypes also in generalization. But yes, but there are some stereotypes which are totally negative, wrong, and carry prejudice. What is prejudice? How they are different from stereotype? Prejudice is an attitude or opinion about a person, which usually leads to discrimination. So and how this ends? Again, dialogue. We go, we talk about a prejudice, we talk about stereotypes. Not talk about, but when we create a relation, we say, oh no, they don't behave like that. So okay, what are the main reasons for perceptions, such kind of perceptions? Because we observe data differently. We consume different data, and we are interested in different things. For example, okay, I will share one example. I have my cousin, and once she came and she said to me that she was quite young. She was very young at that time, around in 5th or 6th standard, I remember. I think she said that I don't understand why some of the in India, she was talking about Hindus, why some people believe that a monkey man could have fly from one place to another. I mean, it does not make sense to me. Don't people even think about it? So then I asked her, do you believe in the travel of Miraj, you know what is that? There is one story of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam when he traveled from his place from Saudi Arabia to Jerusalem and from Jerusalem to the skies. So, and I asked, do you believe that? She said, yes, I do believe. I believe that. I said, then how come you believe one story, one flying, story of a flying man, but you are not believing the story of the flying man from other religion? So because again, because we are interested in different kind of things, we support our argument, we support our religion from all sorts of angles. But when it comes to others, we try to collect those evidences which does not support theirs, but we support evidences which supports our views. So so I think there are several reasons for having perceptions. So, but they can be removed, or they can be at least minimized through dialogue, through having genuine relationship, by asking simple people, that do you do this? I have heard this. Is it true? When you develop a level of relationship, then you can ask things like that. For example, one girl came to me after having a good relationship. She asked me, do you also cover your head when you are at home? And then another girl asked me, I think you don't have a hairs, that's why you cover your head. Somebody told me. So there are lots of misconceptions also, so, and I laughed at it. So it's just a talk away, a dialogue away. I will not say talk, actually talk is the wrong word, but yes, a dialogue away when you really want to know with open heart and genuinely know. So other person gets to know if you are asking something out of curiosity, with a genuine curiosity, or just to make fun of the other. So, so genuineness is very important in dialogue. So here I would like to share some tips of peace building, how we can, at our level, at individual level, what we can do. Number one, we can have inner dialogue. What is inner dialogue? Inner dialogue is understanding our own self, first understanding our own faith, understanding our values, understanding our own purpose. Do we have time? Hello?
Yeah, yes, you can continue, Dr.
Okay.
Farah.
Which we are about to finish. Okay. So I will just end up with one story. It's a story of Mullah Nasruddin. Mullah Nasruddin was a comedian Sufi. He used to tell he used to teach people through, comic stories. So once Mullah Nasruddin was in somewhere in Central Asia, and he was searching something on the street. Then one person came. He said, Mullah Nasruddin, what are you doing? He said, I lost my ring. I'm finding that. He said, okay, let me help you also. That person started to finding here and there. Then Mullah Nasruddin said that you will never be able to find my ring here. Then that person said, then why? And why are you finding it here? He said, actually, I lost my ring in the basement. Then that person said, then why are you finding it here? Why don't you go to the basement and find it? Then that Mullah Nasruddin replied, he said that actually in the basement, it is all dark. There is no light. That's why I'm finding here where there is light. So the moral of the story is that if we have lost anything in our basement, we need to find it there. If our basement, if our core, here basement represents our core, it represents our heart. If our core does not have a light, we need to bring the light. So first, we need to have a dialogue within our own self. First, we need to bring the light in our, within our own self, and then only we are ready to have a dialogue with the other, to understand other. First, we need to understand ourselves before moving to understand the other, to have the dialogue with the other. Because first, we need to have peace within us before spreading the peace somewhere else. In aeroplane, when we go, they always say, tie your own belt first, and then help the other passenger. So first, we need to have inner dialogue, peace within us. Then we can have peace with the other and a dialogue with the other. Well, I don't have much time. Otherwise, we could have gone into dialogue with the other also, with another story, which I was thinking. But I think there are some questions for us to reflect on. Have we ever experienced discrimination and prejudice? And I was thinking to give some time to all of us to think about it, but we don't have. But after answering these questions, most of the time people say yes whenever I have this question. But after this question, we have this question: have you ever discriminated someone else? And here people usually come up with very lighter tone of discriminations. And when they share their own discrimination, they are quite heavy discriminations which they face. But when they talk about themselves, when they have discriminated, they come up with a very lighter examples. So here I will not go due to time, but yes, I think with this I'm done. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for allowing me to share my things. I hope it makes sense, and I hope I was not too fast because I usually talk fast. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Farha. Thank you so much for your contributions. And we could understand perfectly. No problem at all. Thank you so much. So right now, we would like to move forward and call in Thomas Ching-Wei-Tu, who's going to present, who's going to do a presentation on peace among Mandarin-speaking countries and communities. So please introduce yourself. Welcome, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you, Enrique. I'm Thomas from Taiwan, and now I'm the International Relations Studies PhD student. So I will try to explain something new ideas to the conflicts that so many people now are interested about in the region, the conflict between Taiwan, the US, and China. So I would like to share my presentation first. Okay, so my presentation, yeah, thank you, Dr. Farha. It's very inspiring presentation. I learned a lot from your side, and also it is the best one to link to my presentation now, because I will give some more practical reflection on the issues and the possible conflict that in this region, especially from my experience. And today my presentation, actually, first of all, I would like to give this presentation to all my Chinese-speaking fellows, my brothers, sisters, and all the people, Chinese-speaking people living in the world. And we have to reflect on the issues, not only by ourselves, but also we can learn from outside, especially learn from the economy of Francesco's ideas from my village, life and lifestyle village. So, okay, next slide. In 2022, we all learned that the U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi, she visited Taiwan, and it was the first time after 1979. There is a highest ranking, the third ranking U.S. Government delegates came to Taiwan, and it directly linked to the China's military drill around Taiwan just after her visit to Taiwan. And during the time I'm traveling in Italy, and I found the middle photo that I bought a magazine and just saying that now the little China is facing the problem because of the US visiting. So there's a very typical explanation about now the conflict between Taiwan and China. Most of the time, the people is saying that that is a liberal democratic systems fighting against the authoritarian regime. But is that the only explanation? And that we definitely inevitably will one day have a conflict with China. I always think of that because Taiwan and China, we both speak, most of the people, the majority speaking Mandarin, speaking Chinese, just like us in Singapore. People can speak English, but also can speak Mandarin. So I'm very curious about why it is just like a tragedy that we have to face this kind of conflict. And especially it links to the hegemonies theory, like when the global hegemony, the US is facing a growing large power like China, inevitably will have a conflict. But is that definitely will be happen in the future? It's so terrible to feel that. So I always, during past 2 to 3 years, I'm thinking about, is there any solution, or is that really very practical mindset for China that we need to have that war So I'm curious about this question, but not from theoretical side, but just a reflection. Then when the time go to 2022 and 2023, I found a very interesting issue is that population. From very nature side, actually I show this I had that from Wikipedia. It's a projection of the population growth rates 2024. You can see that in Taiwan, Singapore, even Macau, Hong Kong, and even China, we have less newborn baby. Actually, compared with other countries, we have less. So eventually, actually, without any war, actually, this Chinese-speaking group society is shrinking. It's shrinking. Actually, it's shrinking. And it's not only Taiwan, Singapore, we notice this problem. And actually in China, they also notice this problem because it causes not only the labor issue, but also it causes the whole society's sustainability. So it's a problem, but I want to go further to this problem. Some of people probably is not Chinese-speaking people, but Chinese is writing like this. So it means that it's pretty hard to learn with graphic, with meanings, with sounds, with voice, a lot of things to learn. And every time we talk about we need to cherish the Chinese heritage, the Chinese cultural heritage, it means not only to learn how to pronounce Chinese. It does not mean that only learn how to write, how to read, but also, and even it's not only the thing that we have to learn, not only simplify Chinese version, but also learn the traditional Chinese version. But also it means that we have to learn the ancient Chinese, then we eventually can know the word's meaning and a lot of the things. So for the Chinese-speaking majority society, we cultivate our younger generation from our families. So families are essentials for Chinese-speaking group to cultivate their next generation. And this problem links back to the population issues because the Chinese-speaking group is shrinking. So we will face the problem that the families numbers are that many compared with the past. So we will face a problem of how we to cherish our Chinese cultural heritage. Because we cannot imagine that public school, like in other countries, probably their official language is English. Yeah, we know that there are some countries encourage a student to learn Chinese, but just as I mentioned, I explained that Chinese is pretty complex and pretty complicated to learn. So we definitely, if we want to cherish that cultural heritage, we need more families. But it comes to a reflection that if all the people like in China, in Taiwan, Singapore, we all talk about how to cherish the heritage, but we still put weapon toward others or think about the things about war or weaponize the society, then how we can make it done, how we can cherish our heritage. That is a big problem. And actually, nobody mentioned that till now. People are mentioning about the conflict, possible conflict between the US and China. And now we are facing the new Trump administration. People are discussing about a trade war, probably some protection issues between China and the US. And China, they want to persuade everybody to cooperate with them with a great dream. But eventually we can see that if we just not have that inner mindset to build up an environment to encourage the people to have a good life or to cherish the life, to be a pro-life environment, to build a pro-life environment, then eventually, not to say that we can build up a good region, but only in Chinese-speaking group, we will face this kind of problem that we even cannot cherish our Chinese cultural heritage. So that's what from the population, I have that kind of reflection. Then I want to go further that Pope Francis, he always say that he loves the Chinese peoples, and he always teaches that we must not waste our heritage and we must passionately carry forward our legacies. What kind of legacies? actually back to 16th centuries, during the time, the well-known Jesuit Matteo, he came to China in Ming Dynasty, and he made a good friends, a good dialogue between the West and the East. They bring technology, they bring a lot of cultural things, and they explain their ideas, not stereotype, but they explain their idea, their dreams, and their religions to each other. It built out a very good and beautiful channel. And Pope Francis always encouraged us to cherish this experience, not to directly use our stereotype to think of others. And I think it is not only between the East and the West. It's still also can apply to my Chinese-speaking fellows, all the people, because we have the different kind of lifestyle. In Taiwan, we share the same system like the US. We have the direct election, we have a president. In Singapore, they have their election system. In China, they also have their election system. We share the different culture, a little bit difference, but it does not mean that we will not have that channel. The East and the West can have the channel, but among the all Chinese-speaking people, I also think that we will have that channel if we really want to listen to each other. So I got that reflection from Pope Francis' teaching. Then almost to the last is that, because I'm a student studying international relations, so most of the time we're discussing sovereignty, we're discussing international system. We learn that sovereignty means that we have to protect ourselves and nobody should, or to disturb my decisions. Yes, that's right. But what does that mean, sovereignty, and the where sovereignty came from? The Westphalia system. What does mean the Westphalia system? Does that mean that it is a weapon? It is a reason that we can put the weapon for each other's? Actually not. Back to 1648, the Europe has been suffering for 30 years war because of religion conflict and because of the kingdoms conflict. And eventually they found out that nobody can conquer each other. Eventually they think that we should not waste more life. So it came to a Europe wisdom called Peace of Westphalia. So actually Westphalia is a kind of peace resolution. We should not forget that. So every time we are thinking of sovereignty, we need to bear in mind that actually Westphalia means peace. That is I think the most important thing that I want to give, actually not only to my Chinese-speaking fellow this time, but also to the world, that we are now facing the war, the real war. And the last, there's a very good old Chinese teaching is saying that pro-life is inherent to providence. Compassionately is innate to human being. So I want to use this great idiom to close my presentation and to say that we need to think more about life to build out a pro-life environment, and that can help the whole Chinese-speaking group society to cherish our culture and language heritage. And that is the important message today I want to bring to you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for this very, very interesting presentation. Yeah, it's a lot of important things that we must sit down and think again, right? Reflect on it. Thank you so much for your amazing contribution. We are now moving forward. We are going to talk with Natalia Teguputri, who's gonna talk a little bit, who's gonna bring some reflections on peace through the vision of Saint Francis. So Natalia, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Enrique, and thank you, Thomas, for that great presentation. Good day, everyone. My name is Natalia, and it is a joy to be with you in this event. As we gather under the theme of peace, I bring you stories and reflections from Asia, focusing on two places close to my heart, Indonesia and Australia. These stories will highlight the spirit of collaboration and dialogue and hope that we're called to bring. So let me just share my screen here. Let me start in my own backyard, Indonesia. Earlier this month, I was in Jakarta, and a groundbreaking initiative called the Tunnel of Friendship, or Terowongan Silaturahmi, which connects the Istiqlal Mosque and Saint Mary of the Assumption Cathedral. And this underground tunnel symbolizes much more than physical connection. It highlights the interfaith harmony and the tangible steps in mutual understanding and peace that the people of Indonesia are showing. This project also reminds us of the teaching of Saint Francis of Assisi, who called us to be instruments of peace. It is an invitation to bridge differences, celebrate diversity, and find common ground, not only through words, but through actions that unite communities. Indonesia, with its diversity of faith, has shown that peace begins with dialogue, like Dr. Farah said, and mutual respect. The Tunnel of Friendship serves as an example, reminding us that interfaith cooperation is not just a utopia. It is already happening, and it is still very much needed in many parts of the world. Now let me take you to Naarm, the indigenous name for Melbourne, Australia, where I live and work. I acknowledge that this is the land of the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people of the Kulin Nation. Reconciliation with the First Peoples here is an ongoing journey rooted in truth-telling and healing, reminding us of the importance of connection and respect. So these are my colleagues in here, in Naarm's Docklands district, where mindful meditation sessions run every Tuesday lunchtime between 12:10 and 12:40, and people will still have 20 minutes to go eat their lunch and then go back to work. So this mindful meditation is facilitated by my colleague, Alison Helia from the Third Space. And there she is with her beautiful smile. These gatherings bridge the world of business and peace, offering a moment for individuals from diverse backgrounds to pause, reflect, and cultivate peace from within. Mindfulness meditation becomes like a bridge, not just to self-awareness, but to reconciliation with the land and its stories, honoring the wisdom of Australia's first people. In Dilexit Nos, his latest encyclicals, Pope Francis reminds us that the heart of Christ is ecstasy, openness, gift, and encounter. In that heart, we learn to relate to one another in a wholesome way and learning to encounter others with openness and love. So as we close this short storytelling, I invite you to take a moment now for a mindful meditation with me. Let this be a time to connect with the spirit of Advent and call the universal call for all of us to be instruments of peace. So if you allow me and you feel comfortable in your own space, just give your body a little bit of a swiggle and a stretch. And as we enter into stillness and quiet, you can close your eyes if you like and take a deep breath in and out. In and out. You're safe here, and if you want to feel the tension around your neck, give your shoulder a little bit of a roll, and continue to breathe. Deep breath in and out. As you breathe, imagine bridges being built, not just between places, but between hearts. Picture the tunnel of friendship, like an underground bridge, connecting your hearts and others, connecting community. Imagine mindfulness and listening to your body and to others as a tool to bridge the gaps between conflict and understanding. Take another deep breath in and out. Let us silently offer a prayer or intention for peace. First, starting in our hearts, projecting to outside. And imagine this peace reaching out to your community, the people around you, to Asia and around the world. Now, gently bring your awareness back to the space with your deep breath in and out. And open your eyes when you're ready, coming back to the space that we share. And peace be with you. Thank you for taking this moment together with me. It's a pleasure to be with you today and to be reminded once again that peace is a journey. And we have each other in this journey. Luckily, we have Dr. Farah, we have Thomas, we have Enrique, Vincent, Evelyn, Ricardo, and everyone around the world. So thank you for this togetherness. We count on each other to build a world where peace flows naturally, starting from our heart and radiating outwards into our communities.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you for bringing peace to our Fridays. Thank you so much for this really calm moment. Really, we appreciate so much. By the way, we appreciate each of you, Natalia, Farha, Vincent, and Thomas, for your amazing words and amazing participation from today. Thank you very, very much in the name of the entire UF community and the UF executive team. Thank you so much. Well, we are reaching the end of today's session. We would just like to remind you that next Monday at the same time, 3 p.m. Europe, we are going to have our 5th and final event of 2024 for the Ask for Peace, broadcasting from Africa this time. And we are also closing our year from there, from Africa. So we're going to close not only the Ask for Peace program for this year, 2024, but also closing the entire 𝐏𝐞𝐚𝐜 Francesco year. So we really count on each of you to be there with us to celebrate. We're going to have some words of, we celebrated today the diversity from Asia, and we have been celebrating this diversity from a lot of several different continents, and we are going to do the same with Africa. And also a couple of words from the executive team, the 𝐏𝐞𝐚𝐜 Francesco executive team, and from the directors. So thank you so much. We count on you to be there with us on Monday. And that's it. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend full of peace, and see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.